All right, we can go ahead and get going. Hello, everyone, and welcome to our webinar. My name is Danielle Kirkby. I am a customer success manager here at ServiceRocket, and I am based in Wilmington, North Carolina. Today, we're going to cover the Atlassian approach to enterprise service management. Before we dive into the material, I do want to share a little bit more information about us in case you are new to ServiceRocket. For over 20 years, ServiceRocket has been a leading provider of tech-enabled services, helping fast-growing companies in the acceleration of their growth. You can see here in this map that we have a global footprint and have offices and Rocketeers across the world. We are a Platinum Solution and Platinum Marketplace partner of Atlassian and can offer assistance with all of your needs. From software adoption to platform expansion, you have a partner in ServiceRocket. As mentioned, my name is Danielle, but leading us in today's webinar, we are joined by the amazing Taiwo Akindele, who is a senior technology consultant here at ServiceRocket and is based in our London office. Taiwo, would you like to take it over?
Thanks, Danielle. Hello, everyone. My name is Taiwo, and just as Danielle said, I'm a technology consultant here at ServiceRocket, based out of our London office, and it's my pleasure to be discussing with you today. We're going to be looking at the Atlassian approach to enterprise service management, and for today's agenda, we're going to start by providing an overview of enterprise service management, or ESM. As you may hear me referring to it moving forward. We'll discuss what ESM is, what has led to the rise of ESM, the recent shift to remote work and its impact, as well as the return on investment you can expect from adopting ESM. And then, of course, we'll talk about Jira Service Management. We'll look at the benefits of JSM's approach to ESM and some of JSM's ESM features. We'll also look at some real-world cases when we discuss ESM for service management teams. We will wrap up as usual with a Q&A session at the end. So if you have any questions at all, while I'm going through this presentation, feel free to put them in the Q&A box or the chat, and we can make this session more interactive. Danielle will help us moderate the Q&A, and she'll be able to interrupt me to take a look at questions. So let's dive into it. So what is enterprise service management? Enterprise service management, or ESM, is the extension of ITSM practices to service teams across an organization. In other words, we're talking about business teams like HR, legal, marketing, etc., now employing the workflows, processes, and tools that traditionally were used by only technical teams to track their work. A recent Forrester report titled "Apply Enterprise Service Management to Your Industry Processes" states that ESM brings all kinds of organizations together by creating a universal system of connected work. In this report, Forrester found that organizations practicing ESM facilitated work across department lines, replaced informal systems like shared inboxes, and provided an easy-to-use platform with back-end systems of record. Next slide, please. In the past few years, ESM has emerged out of the ITSM space. It has gained recognition and attention from enterprises, from vendors, from industry experts. So the question is, what is behind the rise of ESM? Well, number one is a demand for better workplace experience. People have lost tolerance for disparate, disconnected tools that interrupt information flow and detract from the core elements of their work. For example, using 10 different tools in the course of completing your work, and then spending more time moving work from one tool to the other, rather than more than the time you spend actually doing the work or being productive or creative. ESM offers ways for teams to deliver fast and seamless service in one place, which helps in keeping employees productive and happy. And then also there's the influence of practice standardization, such as ITO4, DevOps, and Agile. You see, with the evolving frameworks of ITSM, the need for flexible, collaborative, people-centric, and efficient processes are paramount. Next slide, please, Daniel. Let's talk about the shift to remote work. So COVID-19 disrupted the typical 9-to-5 office routine we knew almost overnight. Teams adjusted to remote work. Companies that have embraced ESM, though, were best positioned for this sudden transition. By having centralized sources of information, workers were able to find the resources and help they needed to continue their work remotely without issue. This also provided visibility into the work of other co-workers in other teams within the organization and helped to foster collaboration within and across teams. Many employees and employers have actually reported increases in productivity from remote work, believe it or not. And most employees actually want to continue working remotely. So, this trend is likely to continue. Next slide, please, Daniel. So the bottom line is ESM actually makes fiscal sense. Sophisticated tools, which will become more effective with the development of AI, enables organizations to shift left, that is resolving problems at a lower cost tier of service. With ESM, you can have one ESM tool replacing multiple legacy systems. This is providing you savings in licensing fees, procurement, savings in negotiation costs, as well as ongoing maintenance on apps. That's a lot of cost savings. In one HCI survey titled The State of Enterprise Service Management, 75% of respondents reported that their productivity had improved since expanding service management beyond their IT department. Thanks to ESM, organizations can achieve a better ROI on the ITSM tools that they have already invested in, and all teams can deliver faster and better service at a lower cost. Next slide, please, Daniel. So let's talk about Jira Service Management. What's the benefit of the JSM approach to ESM? Well, with project templates for every use case, teams can easily spin up service portals that fit their unique requirements. Different business teams can set up workflows that make sense for the kind of business processes that they are tracking. And they can set up these workflows with a drag and drop editor. They can customize forms to collect the information that makes sense for their business processes, information they need to take action, and avoid endless back and forth with customers or service users, which will be the case in, typically in traditional approaches, like in using email to collect information, for example. Also, JSM allows you to meet your customers or service users wherever they are. That could be email, if that's the preferred way of communicating to you, or through your website, or through chat. All of this can be channeled into the JSM service desk, where you can then even prioritize the requests as they come in, using your queues and SLAs to stay focused on what's highest priority at each point in time. You can also configure intuitive self-service portals, so your employees have one place to find help fast. Also, JSM's flexibility and configurability enables every team to shape processes to fit their needs, while at the same time unlocking collaboration with other teams and maintaining a centralized visibility all on one platform. Let's look at the next slide, Daniel. So what are the JSM ESM features? Well, One of it is service request management. Now, any business team, it doesn't matter whether they're HR team or legal team, marketing team, finance, not just IT teams, but any business team can create a simple, customizable portal so that employees of the organization or service users can get help quickly. And your teams can streamline all this incoming work. Another important feature is knowledge management. With JSM, you can empower employees or service users to find answers to common questions using a self-service portal. That is, as soon as they're typing in, their request to raise a request, filling up a form, as the keywords are being parsed in the background, and JSM is suggesting knowledge-based articles that may be relevant to the request they're raising, so that they might be able to even resolve it by themselves even before they hit submit by finding relevant knowledge. This is possible by leveraging a knowledge base powered by Confluence and integrated with JSM to deflect requests. Another feature is advanced forms. With JSM, you can leverage no-code or very low-code form builders and provide dynamic forms that will only surface the fields that are relevant to your employees. So, you may have hundreds of fields that are relevant to your business process, but you can, with dynamic forms, you can configure such that intelligently and dynamically only the relevant forms for a particular employee in particular scenarios show up. You can also pre-populate data, do intelligent things in the background to make the experience even the experience of gathering information to get your work done even better for the end users. You can also draw on 300+ pre-built form templates that are designed to quickly collect and validate all the information you need about a request that a user is making. Another important feature of JSM for ESM is delegated administration permissions. You see, when an IT department uses JSM, because they're a technical team anyway, and probably because also they are responsible for the IT team is responsible for managing apps around the organization. They are close to where the IT team is close to where the source of control is. But when you now say, hey, the legal team can also have a service desk, or the finance team can also have a service desk, you want to be able to democratize some of the management of these projects. You can do this by having team managed projects that delegate some of the admin permissions to the project owners, so that small teams can do a little bit of customization in their projects. This increases the autonomy of each team within their own projects without affecting the shared projects at the organization level, but still allows you to maintain visibility and control at the organization level. So this is also a key feature that JSM uses to empower ESM shift. Another feature is conversational ticketing. With JSM, you can create a two-way sync between conversations happening in your chat tool, whether it's Slack or Microsoft Teams. You can sync this into JSM so that employees actually never have to leave their chat tools where they spend a lot of time to get the help they need. And then the service agents get all the information they need right in the Jira Service Management side. Another feature is asset and configuration management. JSM supports a flexible and open data structure with inside asset management that allows teams to manage assets and resources important to their practices. Whether it's hardware or software, whether it's goods or services, GSM makes this possible. Next slide, please, Daniel. So let's look at what enterprise service management looks like for service management teams. Specifically, we'll look at some of the experience of Atlassian's own teams internally. Over 50% of the services that's found in Jira Service Management, interestingly now, are created by non-IT teams. This is a huge testament, I think, to how GSM is empowering ESM, or shift to ESM in organizations. Prior to the ESM wave, organizations were already beginning to use IT products for non-IT purposes. But while IT cleared the path by implementing service management tools and practices, quickly other teams began to look to IT for support in implementing these tools for their own work. And that's how we see the popularity of ESM in different kinds of teams advancing. The stats you're looking at on the screen is showing the percentage of non-technical teams who responded to a survey indicating that they are embracing ESM tools. Next slide, Danielle. So the first case we'll take a look at is Atlassian's people team, their HR team. This team is primarily responsible for managing human resources. That includes talent acquisition, recruiting, onboarding, business partners, employee rewards, etc. So what was the problem? During the COVID-19 pandemic, Atlassian actually began growing at an unprecedented rate. Roughly 40% of current employees had joined the company remotely. This posed the challenge of finding ways to facilitate onboarding for new employees scattered, globally and working remotely. So the people team at Atlassian relies on Workday as its HR information system. However, there was opportunity to make improvements that could save time, add better tracking to processes, and create an intuitive and enjoyable experience for these new employees. So what was the solution? Atlassian used Workato, a third-party app with an integration layer, to incorporate onboarding data into JSM. Now, when a new hire is added into Workday, JSM will automatically initiate a range of requests, automatically create a bunch of tickets, such as laptop and account provisioning, accessory request fulfillment, or scheduling an orientation session. Andy Breslin, who is the head of people operations at Atlassian, had this to say, quote, "By having Jira Service Management onboarding tasks landing in the onboarding ops team queue, we reduced risk of human error and eliminated a lot of manual effort. It not only added value to our talent acquisition team and new hires by speeding up the onboarding process, but it also created extra capacity to our onboarding ops team," unquote. As a testament to how ESM really made this work out for them. Next slide, please, Daniel. So what results did the Atlassian HR department see exactly? Firstly, as we saw from the quote from Andy, it created a significant increase in the bandwidth of their team and saved time by making workflows faster and simpler to use. You see, when employees are freed up from, wrangling with tools that are not efficient. The time saved, they can channel this into actually doing productive work, being proactive rather than reactive, and being creative with their work. In addition to this, GSM also made the whole catalog of onboarding tasks centrally trackable and measurable, which also helps to enable their team to become more data analytics enabled. And this also helps, support overall decision making. Lastly, this provided a new and intuitive experience for employees using this system. Next slide, please. So we'll look at another Atlassian team that was impacted positively by this move to ESM. And that's the Atlassian product marketing team. This team is focused on ensuring that products built by the team are successful in the marketplace. So what challenge did they need to solve? Well, in order for product marketing teams to achieve success, they need to work closely with many other teams. Due to the variety of content and projects that require collaboration from many employees from other parts of the organization. The problem then comes from having too many stakeholders being involved and having visibility on every aspect of this process. This can lead to campaign bottlenecks, as well as added frustration, according to Blight Ebersol, who is the senior team lead of product marketing at Atlassian. Blight stated, quote, "When you're sending Slack reminders to too many stakeholders, reminding them to provide feedback on the web page, things can get frustrating fast," and he's right. So what was the solution? Atlassian's product marketing team also set up a GSM project to manage their campaigns. This made it easy to assign issues to cross-functional teams and helped in tracking the larger project milestones. Now the team could easily assign tasks to the design team or content team or web development team, etc. Or they can do all of this from one place. And then content can go through a formal approval workflow, with the core stakeholders. Next slide, Daniel. So what results did the product marketing team see from this use of GSM? Well, this led to reduced back and forth communication across teams. It also led to increased efficiency, improved collaboration with partners across the organization. It also made it much easier to identify, where projects were slowing down or hitting snags, because, for example, there's greater visibility now in seeing how long tasks or campaigns spent in each status in their workflows. And, different other areas of, additional visibility that this was able to provide. All right. Next slide, please. So next, we'll look at Atlassian's privacy team and how they also adopted GSM. This is the growing organization in Atlassian's legal department. The group is responsible for helping thousands of Atlassian employees address privacy concerns, including responding to product teams, checking in on privacy issues related to potential features. Again, let's have a look at what the problem was here. In order to comply with GDPR, Atlassian and many other companies established privacy teams. In those early days of GDPR policy being rolled out, privacy lawyers will tactically handle issues from teams across Atlassian. They will be attending meetings, contributing insights, answering questions, even in one-on-one meetings sometimes, and providing comments on pages. This wasn't sustainable long-term though, as privacy concerns became more and more important. Jen Luther was Senior Privacy and Product Counsel at Atlassian, recalled that knowledge management was a struggle. Quote, you answered the question before, but you'd have to search through a ton of old messages and try to remember keywords from your past answer. It was a journey just to answer a question you already knew the answer to, unquote. So based on what Jen shared, the problem was that the team needed a way to be able to easily and scalably surface what they had done previously and how they had and how they made decisions. So how did they resolve this? Well, since the privacy team isn't built to manage queues for incoming requests, like a IT service desk team, for example, what they did was they implemented Help. This is a conversational ticketing tool. They implemented this to answer questions directly through a Slack channel. Hundreds of employees use this Slack channel, and the privacy team typically will reply directly in Slack. Well, the best part is that now the privacy team can feel assured that should they need it, this request, these conversations happening in Slack will be tracked in JSM as well because of the synchronization between Slack and JSM. Next slide, Daniel. To look at the results of this. So with Jira Service Management, the privacy team now has more time to spend on strategic thinking rather than searching through message history, right? Reporting, tagging, and automation have also made it easier to finish requests as efficiently as possible. Because now you can label related requests with a tag, and this just makes it easier to to find them, to report on them, etc. By using JSM, they now have a knowledge bank as well that the privacy team as well as other teams can use and refer to for important information, while removing the laborious strain they previously had from the privacy team. Jen Luther said it best again when she stated, JSM took us from one-time conversations to Slack messages to having an accessible database of knowledge that is searchable, reportable, and scalable. It's really nice to be able to capture everything so seamlessly, unquote. Next slide, please, Daniel. Just before we go into open this up for Q&A, I wanted to take this opportunity to mention some great offers that won't be available for very long. So in light of current conditions, many organizations are looking for ways to cut costs and improve efficiency by investing and implementing solutions that can have a positive impact on their business, right? JSM is a great solution that offers significant value at a fraction of the cost that you would get from legacy tools. So with that being said, it's a great time to make the move to JSM. And for larger organizations, as early adopters of JSM, you can now get 30% off the regular price for your first year on new instances of 200 plus agents for cloud and 250 plus agents for data center. This offer expires at the end of June. For smaller teams, customers can also sign up for the standard plan of JSM Cloud and get 10 agents for free for 12 months. Although this offer for smaller teams expires at the end of this month. That's tomorrow. So jump on it while you can. Yeah, and we'll open it up for questions, Daniel.
Thanks, Taiwo. We actually haven't received any questions, but it is still open and there are some attendees. So if anyone does have any additional questions, please feel free to drop them in the Q&A section. We can give that just another minute just to see if anyone pops anything in there. And otherwise, if anyone has any additional questions, feel free to reach out to us You can contact us at sales@servicerocket.com, and we're happy to help you with any questions that you might have along the way.
I think a question just came.
Actually, yeah, I was just going to say we do. What things commonly slow down enterprise service management initiatives?
Well, I think there's a couple of factors. I'll name a few that come to mind. I think this is where also you want to choose the right tool, right? You want to have a tool that brings everything in one place. That's something that the Atlassian platform does very well. Because of the suite of products and being able to have a lot of things, content management, project management with Jira and all that. Already there's a lot of things going on the platform, and ESM tool that brings everything together does increase your chance of adoption, rather than when it's another additional tool that people use on top of everything else. So that's one factor. Tooling is one factor. I think culture is another one, because if you have the right tool but you don't have that organizational mindset change or shift to perhaps more agile ways of working, or more collaborative ways of working, that also can be a hindrance. So culture is another thing. A culture that is open, that is collaborative, that discourages silos, where people just want to work in their own little corner and are happy not to know, much else of what is happening elsewhere. So I think that can be a challenge as well. I hope those two help.
We actually did get another question. Is ESM available only on premium plans? Also, is there any difference between standard JSM and ESM?
No, it's not only on premium plans. The project templates for different business teams are available in standard JSM. So the ESM is not a separate product. It's just it's the adoption of or a tool like JSM for different business teams, not just a support team or an IT service desk team, but even a finance. So I could just to illustrate what this looks like, I could share about ServiceRocket as well and our own ESM journey, right? So I could remember easily, like maybe 5 to 7 years ago. Typically, we would only raise a support a JSM ticket for an IT request. I want to request something from IT, I would raise a JSM ticket. But now almost everything that we do, I want to, sometimes you want to ask a question about, tax related stuff from finance, you would raise a JSM ticket. You want to ask a question to, to legal, you would raise a JSM ticket. So that's, what we're talking about when we, talk about the use of JSM for ESM. And yes, this templates that you could use, or how you could configure JSM to work for your ESM drive in your organization. This you can do with the standard JSM plan as well.
Awesome, thank you. Okay, I don't see any other questions come through. Again, if anyone does have any questions, please feel free to reach out to sales@servicerocket.com. We're happy to help you with anything that you might need. And Taiwo, thanks so much for presenting and sharing all of this info. And I hope everyone has a wonderful rest of their day.